President Biden has said from the beginning that we were not going to directly engage the Russians in a military confrontation. Yet we seem to be moving closer to that outcome. And Zelensky is permanently cheerleader for the war in perpetuity and has sold himself as Washington's man on the ground to lead the charge against Moscow. I don't think he can back down from that. He's made so many sweeping statements that are so ridiculous that he can't retreat. Yes, I think that the people in Washington, and when I say people, I'm talking about virtually everybody inside the Beltway, has all drunk heavily from the Kool-Aid that says Russia is weak, Russia is incompetent, the soldiers are no good, the army is weak, we can prevail. We have to stay the course with the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians can still outfight them. And if we need to go in to bolster the Ukrainians and try to establish, under the guise of a no-fly zone on the ground, some sort of secure area in western Ukraine, down near the Polish border, in order to provide a safe haven for retreating Ukrainian forces or refugees or something else, we should do that because we can still dominate the Russians if we need to. The opportunity to do things differently ended a long time ago. If people were serious about trying to prevent the Russians from moving into Ukraine or deterring them from going any further than a few kilometers, we had that back in February, March, and April. We could have sent vast forces over there very, very quickly. Well, of course we didn't, and Judge, we didn't do it because they're not ready. And we don't have ready forces now for a stand-up war in Eastern Europe. So this is all dangerous nonsense. And the Europeans are watching all of this. The only thing we can successfully do in a very short period of time is persuade most Europeans that we've lost our minds and that we're a dangerous partner. We may well see the North Atlantic Treaty Organization go out of existence very rapidly, de facto, as a result of this kind of behavior. All the things that we said we were fighting to preserve will go away. First of all, let's understand that I don't think anybody in their right mind wants a direct military confrontation with Russia. The problem is that we in the West do not see Russia as Russia is. We see it through this distorting lens. We either impute to it Soviet-like attributes or evil attributes, whatever you want to call it. We tend to view it through the lens of our own notion of economic power and wealth. And you reach utterly false assumptions about Russia. Assumption number one, Russia is really weak. Russia can't stay the course. All we have to do is double down and we'll attrit them. We'll wear them out. No, it's the exact opposite. That's an impossibility, as they demonstrated already economically. Secondly, their military is no good. It's no good because when they came in, they were soft. They didn't come in hard. They didn't do very well. They seem to have been defeated, all of which is erroneous nonsense, and they're wrong. They're very wrong. In fact, there's a real appetite in Russia, to be perfectly blunt with you, to do real damage to our forces if they get the opportunity. So I think you've got a misapprehension of the danger and the level of response that it will elicit. And now we have a much larger, very different Russian army in the field. This is now a wartime theater. Ukraine is no longer being treated with kid gloves. The Russians now have decided there is no way to negotiate an end to this. No one will negotiate in good faith. Therefore, we must crush the enemy. That's what's coming. The Ukrainians, on the other hand, have taken such horrendous losses. They now admit to 35,000 missing. Now they're trying to force teenage boys at the age of 13, 14, 15 into uniform. They're now telling the disabled that you're going to be mobilized. They're literally scraping the bottom of the barrel. And we're getting videos that are coming in now from Ukrainian soldiers. They disappear almost as quickly as they appear naturally, where some of the Ukrainian soldiers are saying, well, the people in Kyiv better be hopeful that the Russians get to them before we do, because the Russians will probably put them in jail. If we get to them, we'll kill them. We are the ones that keep saying no negotiation. We're the ones that say unconditional surrender to you, Mr. Putin. Mr. Putin, unless you go out in the middle of Red Square and shoot yourself through the head and commit suicide, there can be no negotiated settlement. This is absurd. That's what we're doing. We are prolonging this war. We are prolonging this war. We are prolonging this war. We are